Good morning, everybody. So I hope that you all had a good weekend. We are just gonna dive right in. So Thursday, we left off on chapter 4. And basically it's still just kind of going into how El Rey is going to approach the boys in his class and how he is going to go through and try to figure out who is going to be the best person to be his spare best friend. Okay, so we are going to start with chapter 5. And again, I am expecting you to talk about your characters, talk about the setting, and what happened, what were the events that happened in the chapter. But starting this week, I want to focus more so on the characters because we are going to be analyzing characters. So your first assignment is a character map where you are going to fill out the boxes in the character map according to like what subject it is. It could be like character physical traits, where you found that in the text, there's a lot. But it's going to help when we're describing characters in the long run, because I want you all to get in the habit of using descriptive language and figurative language. So, which is why we've been going over onomatopoeia words, we've been going over, detail, where to find it in the text. I want you to be able to use those types of words and that type of terminology when you're discussing books in the future. Okay? So keep that in mind. Chapter 5. El Rey Jakes, the Recess King. That's the title of the book, as well as chapter 5. You're awfully quiet over there, buddy, Dad says at dinner. Turkey meatloaf, a huge blob of ketchup, carrot coins, and my mom's special potatoes. I'm good, I tell him. Elway's just thinking, Alfie explains. She's actually right. I have been trying to figure out the best way to make Jason and Diego want to be my friends. I mean, we're already friends, I guess, since we have been in the same class since September, and we have never had a fight. But I want them to be real friends. Friends I can hang with after school, on weekends, and even during the summer. Page 32. Friends like Corey is, when he's not busy swimming, or like Kevin is some of the time. Hold on a second, El Rey, Dad says, his always solemn face creasing into an even more serious expression. Is everything okay at school? His fork has stopped halfway to his mouth. Now, Warren, my mom says, probably hoping to calm him down. Okay, here's what's going on. 1, my mom and Dad moved us to Oak Glen from San Diego when I was in kindergarten, even though the move meant that Dad would have a much longer drive to work, all the way down to San Diego and back. 2, but almost the minute we got to Oak Glen, I think my dad was bothered that there weren't more brown faces around town. 3, what worried him even more was the idea that kids my class might pick on me because my skin is brown. And when Alfie came along, whoa. 4, so far, there hasn't been any trouble like that. There are plenty of real reasons for kids to get irked with me, and the other way around. Me with them, I mean. And the same with Alfie for that matter. Normal reasons, not skin color. Reason 5. But Dad's worries still stick in his head, like a splinter, I guess. You know how, when you have a splinter in your hand and you can't get it out, the thought of it always fills your brain, even though the splinter is only one little part of your body? Like that. Like the way I feel about being short. I'm only asking, Louise, Dad tells Mom, putting down his fork. It's a perfectly reasonable question. Notice how my mom and dad get to have regular names, by the way? Louise, Warren. But Alfie and I have names we have to explain. Like I said, parents should not do that to their kids, in my opinion. Don't worry, Dad. Everything is fine at school, I say. I just feel kind of quiet tonight, but in a good way. Like Alfie says, I'm thinking. Anyway, I'm the chatterbox around here, Alfie says, sounding proud. That was page 33. 34. As if we need telling. And you'll never guess where Suzette Mohan thinks baby kitties come from, my little sister adds. She leans forward, her brows eyed wide. Oh, heaven help us, Mom says. Here we go. And I actually stopped trying to figure out how to con Jason and Diego into being my friends for a minute. What Alfie says next will either be completely rando, like our teenage babysitter says, or it'll be really good. Dad looked worried again. I'm not sure that's telling us where kittens come from is the best subject for the dinner table, Alfie, he says. Beautiful elf in a language only my mom knows anymore. See what I mean? That's what her name means. Beautiful elf. Alfie? Why? Alfie asked, her golden face starting to crumple. You don't like flowers? Because that's where Suzette found a whole bunch of kitties, she said, in their garden. And she'll sell us one for only $100. And Mom, Dad, and I all started to laugh. Which, of course, only makes things worse for Alfie. Page 35. But that's okay, because she gets over things fast. I guess she doesn't have a brain splinter yet. Later, in bed, I stare at my ceiling in the dark. I am trying to figure out my friend problem in a logical way. That's what Dad is always telling me to do. Be logical. He's a scientist, remember? Jason Leffer is already the funny kid in our class, I remind myself. So I can't win him over with pranks and jokes. Diego either. And I can't bribe them into being my friends. I don't even have enough money. I only have enough saved up to bribe maybe half a person for 5 minutes, tops. My dad says I'm one of life's big spenders, that's the thing. Besides, Mom and Dad would never let me get away with something as bad as bribery. But there's another thing I'm good at besides spending money, and that's having fun. Page 36. I can really get into it. And when does a kid have the most fun at school? During recess. So, if I can figure out a way to be the most fun kid in the whole world at recess, if I can turn into the kid with the best ideas and stuff to do, then Jason and Diego are sure to want to be my new spell friends. I can fix what's wrong with them after that, I tell myself. Like Jason cracking jokes all the time and Diego thinking there's nothing better to do than read. They'll thank me someday. But first, I have to become El Rey Jakes, the recess king. Genius. And that is chapter 5. We will start with chapter 6 tomorrow. So your assignments are to do your Flipgrid response and fill out your character map. The character map, or the character map character today is El Rey. So you're only talking about El Rey on your character map. Tomorrow, it will be someone different. So keep that in mind. See you tomorrow.